So, last week, when I was talking with some of my friends, we ended up on the topic of Ghibli movies, specifically The Cat Returns, a story about a young girl named Haru who's transported to a world ruled by cats, a setting which actually crops up fairly regularly in media. Though this begs the question, where did this idea first come from? Well, one of the earliest references to a king of the cats comes from a 13th century French poem where a giant monster cat called Kapalu kills King Arthur and becomes the next king of England. While this poem is clearly a work of satire, Kapalu is one of a number of magical felines that exist throughout European and especially Celtic folklore. One figure that tends to crop up fairly regularly in Celtic folktales is the Keichi, or fairy cat, a mysterious, smooth-talking feline, which, according to some stories, actually has its own kingdom. For example, in The King of the Cats, a British folktale from the 16th century, a young gentleman is approached by a talking cat who asks him to relay a message to someone named Tommy Tildrum, namely that his brothers died and he is now king of the cats. Unaware of who the cat is talking about, and likely very surprised that a cat is talking at all, the man instead rushes home to relay the odd encounter to his wife, at which point his cat, Old Tom, proudly stands up and declares that he is now king of the cats. Though earlier versions of the story don't actually mention a cat kingdom, later variations, of which there are quite a few, often depict Tom vanishing shortly after his declaration, implying that not only does a cat kingdom exist, but that the entrance to said kingdom is often located in places that are difficult for humans to access, like the top of a chimney, an idea which may have inspired the smokestack scene from The Cat Returns, though this could also just be a coincidence.